What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Friday, and I'm so stoked to be here with you. If you don't know, my name is Taetro. I'm an electronic music producer, beat maker, content creator, and I'm here every Friday on the ADSR channel, making some music, trying out some new plugins, and today we're trying actually like a little bit of a new format. Of course, if you like the music making and trying new plugins and new packs, we're still going to do that in sort of the second half of today's stream. But in the first half, what we figure we want to try to do on Fridays is give you all a recap or a little info about some new plugins that dropped. We can sort of react to them because some of them I don't know too much about. Some new plugins that came out this week, as well as some deals in case you're looking for some inspiration. You're looking for that one little new thing that's going to get you up and running this weekend, making some music and things like that. So we're going to try doing that today. A little newsy kind of segment, I guess you could say. You all let us know what you think about it, and I'm going to be looking for your thoughts in the chat. So please, if you're here with us, say hello in chat. We're going to go through, like I said, we're going to start with new plugins, then we're going to get into deals, and then there's one of the plugins that we're actually going to take a deeper dive into. I'll open it up in Ableton Live, and we will make some music. So let's, ADSR in the chat says, let's also give away a copy of Chord Jam from Audio Modern. Yes, let's do that. So Chord Jam is actually the plugin that we're going to be checking out today. It's one of the new plugins that dropped this week, I believe, recently. So we're going to definitely make some chords with that. Should be exciting. Who's in the chat? James Murley, Mr. Mark, Kyle Gray Young. James Murley having some ramen? Did I read that correctly? On lunch. We love that. What kind of ramen do you get, James? What's in the ramen? Because some of you know, my friend Joseph that I live with, he makes fantastic ramen. We've been trying different ramen places. It's always a good time. Oh, Chow over in the Twitch chat from Cosa Nostra. What's up, 99? Are you a Kanye fan, my friend? Or just in the Mafia? But yeah, giveaway coming up about halfway through the stream. We'll talk about what you got to do to enter that giveaway. But nonetheless, why don't we get into it? Why don't we talk about some of the new plugins that dropped? We'll watch a couple like little promo videos and see if it interests any of you. So let's do it. I'm going to pause my background music and let's go to it. What do we have here? UJam just dropped Virtual Drummer Phat. So I think we see this a lot. Actually, UJam does a great job of this because we see this a lot. Like any kind of percussion, any kind of drums, to get it sound real and human and not have to use a sample, have some control over what is actually playing, is always a challenge. So it seems like UJam is once again trying to help us out with that with Virtual Drummer Phat. Let's watch the promo video and see what it's all about. You all let me know about volume and stuff too.
Welcome to Virtual Drummer 2 by UJam Instruments.
What's up, Drummy GM?
Virtual Drummer Phat is a slick and funky urban drummer sporting the famous dry drum sound into a well-worn mixing console with lots of vibe and character.
All right, so it's not just a virtual drum set, it's also like...
If your music needs soul, edge, and
some
funk,
sound design.
Phat is the one made for you. Whatever your skills, Virtual Drummer Phat makes it easy for you to create vibey,
the drums we're hearing
drum
sound
tracks
real?
with ease, fun, and in no time.
I think so.
Phat's frustration-free interface is built to create exactly the performance and drum sound you want. No matter how you set the controls, Virtual Drummer Phat will always sound great.
Nice.
Virtual Drummer Phat. Whether your style is R&B, hip-hop, or soul, this is the drummer that gets you the vibe you're looking for.
That's exciting.
Download Virtual Drummer Phat for free now and try it for a full 30 days. Go to ujam.com.
Free trial. You all should check that out. Free trial at ujam.com. For 30 days, why not? It definitely seems like... Let me jump back. I can do that. How does Google Slides work? Let me jump back just to look at the interface one more time. It looks like you're assigning not only like the instrument to the keys, and so you can finger drum that way, but it also looks like you can assign like grooves to certain keys, which is very, very helpful. You could set up basically a whole song. It looks like intro, verse, style, fills, choruses, and then like program that via MIDI. But yeah, it's always it always seems a little bit difficult to program some natural sounding drums, and it looks like Virtual Drummer's doing that for us. Not only that, but just looking over here on the side, the mix presets, punch, rattle, pump, bright. I mean, the plugin is literally called Phat, so I assume it's looking for like a chunky bass, chunky like drum sound. Looks pretty cool. So that 30-day trial is on their website. So if you are curious about that, hey, 30 days a lot longer than the weekend. So if you need a cool drum plugin, probably worth checking out. Let's move right along. On to the next thing. Yes, I've already watched that. Thank you. Okay, from our friends at Native Instruments, Reactor, this new thing called Random. So I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, it's granular, grain delay, and very interesting. I love spectral patterns like this. This is a very cool way to visualize the grains and grain delay. We got sample. We drop in a sample here. This looks a little wild and crazy here. Very intense mixer. So I'm wondering, I'm assuming this is going to be like a pretty ambient based instrument, but I know we have a video for it. So let's see what's going on here. Reactor Random. This is a 26-minute video.
Cycles and spots presenting an ambient production instrument for Reactor.
Ambient production instrument. We're not going to watch this whole thing. We're just going to listen to some sounds.
And effects to easily create long evolving soundscapes.
Soundscapes. That's what I expect from like a grain delay instrument or a grain sample.
Harmonies and 100 organic field recordings.
Granular.
That feature nature's surroundings from different locations in the world. Hydrophone and underwater recordings. And contact mic sounds that capture audio from inside of real objects. Next, the presets.
Contact mics are actually really interesting. I've done a couple videos with contact mics. I don't know if you've seen it, but hydrophones too, like recording underwater. Oh, okay. This actually sounds very nice. It doesn't sound too abstract. Let's listen through to some of these presets. Hello, Jose. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Like I said before, everybody in chat, we are giving away a plugin today, so stick around. We'll announce how to enter that about halfway through the stream on the half hour. Christinosh says Random works with Reactor Player. I'm not sure. Is Reactor Player like the smaller version of Reactor? The Native Instruments environment is sort of confusing. The trouble with these instruments is that usually it's like a little bit too abstract, but I think this initial synth sound they're showing is very... I can imagine using this in even in a lo-fi track to create some ambience. Look at all this mixer going crazy. Let's listen to a couple more of the presets. Peaceful. And they've got samples coming in, but what I just noticed, like they've got samples as presets. What I just noticed though, there seems to be 2 samples running, which is kind of crazy. I bet this is pretty CPU intensive. Obviously there's a vocal sample here. This reminds me, Native Instruments has like far light and stray light. That's what this sound reminds me of. It seems like this is all automating. Oh, I see. So it looks like each of these parameters, right? I'm going to bring down the volume. So it looks like each of these parameters, which affects the sound, position. That's position within the sample, the pitch, the grain length, the grain density, pan, volume, sample, frequency shift. You can assign these to time values like 8th notes, 16th notes, or you can assign them to random. And it looks like in most of these patches, it's assigned to random, aside from the sample one. So that's what's randomizing these, which probably gives contributes to the ambient effect, I would say, having all that randomness. All right, let's listen to one more. This is a little more synthy, a little less ambient. You notice that some of these values changed here. They're not all random anymore. which gives us a little more of a steady synth sound. What do you all think of this one? It seems intense. I wonder if folks in the audience would have a use for it, or if it just seems like a cool thing. I want to hear one more preset. Let me skip through a little bit. Go here. All right, this one's a little more out there. Interesting, combining ambient field recordings. Let's skip through. I'm going to go right up until the walkthrough. For when you're scoring a horror movie, this is perfect. Last one, last one. Another horror movie vibe. I think that's pretty cool. I could have a lot of fun with it, but again, I'm wondering how much CPU is this thing is my MacBook gonna explode? I just see that jumping and I get scared, and I think about what it actually takes to run these samples like this and have all these configurations. Oh, that's cool with the flute. All right, I'm staying too long on this because I'm fascinated by it, but yeah, shout out to Native Instruments. That dropped this week. Random. It's a instrument of Reactor. The Native Instruments environment is so confusing to me personally. I mean, I use a ton of Native Instruments plugins, but it's like, okay, I want this instrument, but I have to load it in Reactor. So I need Reactor. Which version of Reactor do I need? It's like crazy. Yeah, film score, ambient, drum and bass, lo-fi. There's definitely uses for everybody. Yep, so that's random. Let us know what you think of that in the comments below. Yes, we already did that. All right, Chord Jam dropped this week, and I don't have a video for this one because we're actually going to throw this one in the DAW and start using it today. Hey, what's up, Distraction Sounds? How you doing? We're going through some of this week's new plugins. So Chord Jam, another issue for music production. Like, I've got my keyboard here, right? And of course, I'm pretty well, like I've taken some piano classes. I had to in college. I can play some pretty decently complex chords and chord progressions, but I can't always. I'm not a pianist by any means. So playing more complex chords becomes a bit of a challenge. ChordJam is looking to solve that problem. It actually can generate some chords for you. It also has a built-in sequencer. This dropped this week from Audio Modern, and we're gonna actually get into the DAW and look at this in the back half of the stream. So stick around if you are interested in that. It's actually pretty fun. I was trying it out a little bit ahead of the stream, and we'll dive into that and make some music with it too, because I've got some packs from the ADSR store to check out as well. All right, I think the next is the P-20 synth, which is back, not so fast. The PS-20 synthesizer by Cherry Audio. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, ADSR in the chat, Brent, another presenter here on the ADSR channel, did a full stream, like doing some sound design and testing out some patches with this synth. So that is definitely worth checking out. Maybe we'll be able to drop the link in the chat if people are interested in checking out this synth. If this kind of synth is what you're into, I look at this and I just think, oh my gosh, it's so confusing. It says like Scalar, but with a comprehensive interface, talking about Chord Jam. Yeah, Cosa Nostra. We'll get into that. I've never used Scalar, but it's pretty intuitive. This Chord Jam one. What do you think of Native Instruments and Isotope partnering? I think it's pretty cool. Like anything that kind of can better serve the community, I think is great. All right, but the PS-20 synthesizer is on sale, 41% off. So if you need a new synth in your life and you're looking to share. If you need a new synth in your life and you're looking to save is the word that I'm looking for. I can speak English. Another sale here. This is kind of another Eventide. You let me know in the chat. Eventide. Instant flanger. This is sort of like a tape effect. This is sort of retro. Eventide is kind of known for like their more retro. It's all, I believe their plugins are for the most part based on actual rack mounted physical gear retro stuff. So that is also on sale from $129. 61% off. It's $50 this week. Yes, Brent Stream on that Cherry Audio synth is in the chat for people to check out if they're interested in learning more. We've got the Elevate bundle by Newfangled Audio, 50% off. That's a pretty good deal. These are like some mastering EQs and stuff. So if you're getting into your mixing and mastering, this might be something worth checking out. Saturate or punctuate, this crazy looking EQ if you're really looking to get in there and dig into it. It's also worth noting that this coming Tuesday, we've got a stream where you can get feedback on your mix and masters. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you join our Discord channel. Let's go on to the next deal. All right, a set of deals, a bundle here, you could say. So the Melda Productions, currently offering 50% off these 4 plugins: Drum Replacer, M Comb MB, M Stereo Generator, and M Drummer. Very exciting. Save on some of these things. M Turbo EQ, which is free with any purchase on ADSR this month. So don't forget that. If you're liking the Melda production line, any purchase will get you the M Turbo EQ free, which I've demoed in a previous stream. There's some sales for you. You know, we got a range of stuff, right? Like, of course, the drummer is $146 if you want to spend a little more, but then there's stuff like $29 in case you want just a little something, maybe a little something to push your creative juices over the edge, you know, that kind of thing. Next. All right, the DigiNoise, all 3 of their plugins are 50% off until the end of this month, which is coming up. That can't be right. It's the 21st. So take advantage of this before it goes away. Trap Drive is cool. That was a free plugin, I think, a month ago or something. Very simple, nice user interfaces. Hat Tricks is nice. Subdivine. Trap Drive, if you want to add some of that dirt and grit to your drums, to anything, really, you can go ahead and do that. What a steal. $10? $10 to try something new this weekend? Why not? James Murley says drum replacers are a lot of fun using with a live drummer. Interesting. Very interesting. Moving right along. Oh, that's the end of our deals for today. So if any of those deals or plugins appealed to you, they're all available on the ADSR store, of course. But that brings us here to Chord Jam, which is kind of like our featured plugin this week that we're going to actually be giving away a copy of. So be prepared, be ready, stick around to the end of the stream if you do want to be eligible to win. I'm going to open up my Ableton Live here, and we're going to get into using Chord Jam. You know, chat, I am, if those of you who know me or who come here from my community, know that I usually stream on Saturdays on my channel. But this weekend, I'm going away to a cabin in the woods. So on that note, if you would like to be entered into the giveaway to win yourself a copy of Chord Jam, please drop your nature-related, cabin-in-the-wood-related emojis in the chat, and you'll be entered to win. We'll select somebody at random that is present at the end of the stream to win a copy of this. But hey, what the heck is this even? Well, first of all, it is not an instrument. So if you get this and you load it into your DAW and you start pressing keys and you're like, it's not making sound, what's happening, what's wrong? That's because that's not what it actually does. It generates chords. So you see if I press a key, literally just pressing keys, the chords are popping up and it's definitely interacting there. But what it's meant to do is be routed to an instrument. So for instance here, I've got just a stock operator that if I just control it with my MIDI keyboard, that's there. Stock operator with a reverb on it. Cool. But like I said, my chord knowledge is only limited. You know, I can play some seventh chords. But can I get into the crazy 11s or 9s and stuff? And I don't know. I can't always articulate that musically the way I want to. So in comes Chord Jam. And like I said, this is not an instrument itself. We got to route it to your instrument. And how does that work? The way it works is with our in and outs here in Ableton Live or any DAW that you have, you can route MIDI from one channel to the other. So for this operator, I want it to receive its MIDI from Chord Jam, not from my keyboard. Meaning I just go to this drop-down menu, select Chord Jam, which is the track with Chord Jam on it. And then if I arm this track, now it won't receive MIDI from my keyboard. It will receive MIDI from Chord Jam. Listen to this. I'm playing one key with one finger. So right off the bat, we're able to play some more complex chords than we would. Maybe our abilities are not allowing us to play. And what's going on with the interface here? Well, lots of stuff. Of course, when we look at a new plugin, we want to look at the interface and see how it's sort of divided up. So we have our first section here, which is voices. Now, there seem to be 5 voices, meaning 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this chord. And for each of them, we can adjust where they are. We can turn them on and off, first of all. And we can adjust where they are in the octave range. So for that 5th voice, I can put it up an octave, down an octave. I can do that for all the voices. And this just changes literally the voicing of the chord. Maybe you've heard that term before. Of course, putting certain notes in the bass will sort of change how we hear the chord for sure. So we have that ability. We can also like randomize that too. Click that orb. I love the orb. The next up is the velocity. Right? So here we have a range on this bar. So obviously the higher end is a louder, harder hitting velocity. If I shrink this range, it's going to play all high velocity. If I shrink this range down below here, it'll play a lower velocity, or at least it should. Let me randomize this. Now, another thing to notice, this is in sections, right? But notice how these are all connected in rows across. So not only am I able to adjust the velocity range, but you can adjust the velocity per voice, because if you think of a natural keyboard player playing keys, you might not necessarily play every note with the same exact velocity, so you can adjust these per voice as well, but it will always be within that range. Press the orb, and we can go ahead and randomize that as well. Last column is like time, I guess. We can also add an arpeggiator here. This is how we can get little strum effects too. So like I said, each one of these 5 lines represents the 5 voices. So how can we strum? So now I've just drawn that very simple pattern, and you'll hear it. What's up, Miracle Guy? No worries. I see lots of... Who shared broccoli? Broccoli and hot dogs, James? That's what you think of when you think cabin in the woods? Make sure you drop those nature-related emojis. For this week's giveaway, we're giving away a copy of Chord Jam. So as you can hear, I've added some strum. Literally, once again, I'm just playing a single note on the keyboard. That's very useful. Press our little purple orb here, and we're randomizing. Little infinity tool here. Maybe you've noticed it on each kind of column. But what that does is every time I play a chord now, it will randomize. Now this little range here, you'll notice how if I shrink this range, it will change within that. sort of range of time. If I spread this out, we're going to see a lot more drastic changes every time it switches. So if you want something a little more natural, I would just hone that range. There's also an arpeggiator built in, which is interesting. Arpeggiating through the chord, we can change the direction. We can change the rate. Not to mention, it is synced up with our DAW tempo. So if I change the tempo here in live, we notice that it changes within the plugin. Judah says, nice UI. I agree, it is a nice UI. So yeah, built-in arpeggiator is nice. Now I kind of skipped this top section here, but this is like mainly where we're choosing like our key and our note and our chord type. Now, for some insane reason, I mean, shout out to the folks at Audio Modern for making a very cool plugin. But when I open this plugin, when you open this plugin new, it automatically loads with a minor 7 add 11 chord. Now, maybe they just want to show off the complexity of 5-voice chord or something, but I just think that's so funny. That's such a bizarre starting note. Let me put this into context of something that's a little bit easier for people to understand. So the scale type here, it's currently selected on minor, which is fine, but we can switch it back to major, but you can see we have quite the chord selection here. I mean, quite the scale selection, I should say. Non-Western, Western. But let me go to major. And now if I go to chord type, obviously we have all these extensions here. Diminished chords, augmented chords, major, minor, sus. But maybe slightly more practical would be major scale. Now, if I select major scale, what we're going to hear is a triad, 3-note chord. So a C major triad, it's displaying for us right there. So we only have 3 voices in this. But now what you'll see is as I play up the keys, so what that did for me is it locked in the chords for the key of C major. So if you know that your song is in key major, is C major, and you want to write a chord progression that goes along with that, you can go ahead and do that very, very easily by setting the scale type and the chord type to major scale. It'll sort of align it for you. And obviously we can change our root note. And what that actually did was align it to the white keys. So even if you know nothing about the keyboard, which is probably who this plugin is best for, even me who knows something about the keys, I find it very easy to use. The white keys become the D major scale. So you notice I'm playing a C, but it's playing a D major chord, the 1 chord of the scale. Very easy to line things up there. But then, of course, you know, we can get more complex than that. We can start playing. I mean, that's probably why it gives you that crazy chord to start off with. Even more voices, and let's just randomize how those voices are spread across octaves. And I'm going to stop that from randomizing, actually. So the more complex you want to get, especially if you learn your favorite songs, types of chords in your favorite songs, this makes it much easier to replicate. Because if you see your favorite song has a major 7 sus4 chord and you don't know what to do with that, you can select it in this plugin. Switch back to C. And obviously you get all kinds of crazy combinations. And it's always naming the chord for you there too. So yes, you're able to select your chords, all that, but we haven't even gone under the hood. I will also say that if you have a grid controller, like a Machina or something, MPC, or any kind of grid controller, even if you have like an MPK, you can take particular chords. Let me actually find something simpler within the key. Just a major 7 chord, why not? I love that chord. Let me play it down an octave. Let me go ahead and assign that to pad 1 here. So every time I want to play that chord, I can assign it to pad 1. But now let me find a nice 4 chord here. That's a nice chord, so that's a major 9. Let me assign that to 2. So now I have the 2 different voicings here. And what you will also notice is that we have the ability to change these parameters as well. So maybe we want this chord, but we want it strummed in a more traditional way. Let me add that here. So now we have this version and the traditional strummed version. So just expand that out to any of these parameters, right? You want to change the voices on that chord. Let's do it. Let's bring this down. Let's bring it up. I like that sound. Let's bring the 1 down in the root note there. I like that there. Let's keep that there. So now we have this chord voiced differently. Let's save it on pad 7. So there you have 3 different versions of that chord, different voicings, different strum patterns, etc. And you could go and expand that out to any of these. So that's that pad mode, but let me jump off of that and let's activate the sequencer. Let's turn the sequencer on. So now built into this, I can build sequences. Again, synced with my DAW's tempo, so I'm gonna just hit play on the DAW. Let me select another chord now. I'm just gonna do a simple 2-bar phrase here. Once again, we are able to go into these and edit them, I believe. Let's make sure this works the way I think it should. Yeah, so once I want to put this, let me clear that. Let's put that there. Now, does that carry over? Yes. So just like we were doing before with the pads, assigning these pads with different parameters and different voicings, we can do that in the sequencer as well. So you see that this chord just plays normal. And then the second chord plays as an arpeggiation, which maybe is not super practical, but you know. It's pretty good. Let me delete this. I like that sound. Let's put that in there. So we're dialing in our voices. Then we can obviously adjust that. There we go. Yeah, we can adjust that per chord in the sequence, but you can build out your own sequences. Obviously, that's a very, very simple one. Not only that, you can drag out particular chords or sequences into your DAW. So now I have these as MIDI. I can use them. I'm dropping them onto that operator track. So now let's unarm this. And let me actually build that. I can now basically print that onto my track, essentially. I've got the MIDI, so now it exists beyond just within the Chord Jam plugin. Does that all make sense? So that's like a very surface level kind of look at it. There's other things like particular patterns or chord styles that are within there. So yeah, does this have its own synth, or is it just sounds from a different synth? It is just sounds from a different synth. Chord Jam does not have sounds built in. It is meant to trigger other tracks or other instruments within your DAW. So I just have this operator set up, which is routed, as you can see here, to Chord Jam. But it's just like a basic operator. So why don't we get into making some music actually, and let's take a break from using Chord Jam for a moment and program some drums out. Here we go though. So where are my sample packs? I have this new AudioKaviar hip hop and drill pack, which is amazing. Let's find some one shots and build up a rhythm. I don't know if we're gonna do drill today, to be honest, but we're gonna do something. Let me loop a 4-bar pattern here. I'm at 150, which is kind of odd for me. But nonetheless, let's see what kind of drum sounds we have here. I really like these. Oh, there's a lot of drum one-shots here. Okay, let's get this going. All right, simple snare pattern. I'm just gonna make a simple, like basically a 2-bar pattern here. And then we'll get the kick going. And it's just as simple as that. Oh, very good percussion here too. Let me build out this pattern a little bit. I'm just going to put random percussion on the timeline here. I'm going to try to work kind of fast and not overthink things here for a moment. I try to get percussion reacting to the snare. Okay. But we're missing that kick pattern. So where are we at? Lots of cool kicks here. Like that one. These are some Phat kicks. We talked about Phat drums earlier. I'm going to go with that little more subtle one, number 12. Okay. Bump, bump. That's what I'm looking for. Let's get a nice bounce going here. All right, now we're bouncing. Justin says, I like the idea of Chord Jam. Would love to see it in a hardware option. Well, yeah, that actually wouldn't be hard to set up at all. So if I was going to do that, you would just need an interface that could send MIDI from your DAW to a hardware instrument. Like I do this sometimes with my Micro Freak, which is a synth. I've got an interface that has MIDI out. I send MIDI out from the DAW, and it's actually just as easy as what we did within the DAW. It's just a matter of telling the MIDI where to go or setting up the audio track so you can hear your synth, obviously, too. But then setting up your MIDI to get sent out to that from Chord Jam. All right, let's keep going. All right, that's a good enough bounce. Should I have gone with a heavier kick, my friends? I'm kind of like regretting not going with a heavier kick now for this particular pattern that I have. I could have used 2 different kicks also. But nonetheless, that kind of glitchiness sounded cool. I'm just going to replace it with this kick, because why not? Oh, maybe using them in conjunction is not a bad idea. Yes. All right. Let me use 12 for like the second hit. That gives it a little more of a bounce, I think. All right, so we've got a very basic pattern here. It's probably worth laying out some hi-hats too. I said I wasn't going to do drill, but all I can think about is drill now. I just don't think doing a drill beat right now would not be the best way to use Chord Jam in conjunction with this. Let me do a little roll here. I might go even more zoomed in with the rate. All right, let me just, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me just copy this figure over. I'm trying to fit things in between the hits, right? Which we definitely have the option to do. Let's make these even closer. All right, we've got this very basic drum beat kind of going here, kind of wild. We could have used a drum loop, of course, as well. Oh, we have some synth presets here. Some 808s, very cool. Church bell. So what I'm going to do is replace this. Actually, let me put it here on a new MIDI track. And let me see what we have for keys in this pack. These are, it's always helpful when there are Ableton racks. Let me make sure. It's wavetable. Nice. Let me see what pad sounds we have. Let's replace that. Just going to try out some of these. When it's native to the DAW, it's always helpful. And then we'll run Chord Jam. Yes. Here we go. So let's get MIDI from Chord Jam. And let's build out a sequence. Or at least try to, for sure. Chord Jam, I'm going to just turn this one. That one's not going to be armed anyway. Already sounds dope. And why does it sound dope? It's because we're getting that chord progression. One thing I'm going to do before we start laying down an idea, though, is just sidechain it right away, because that's going to make it, you know, it's going to make it pump with the drums. Won't sound like a synth and a drum happening in two different rooms. They'll have some cohesiveness. Oh, I still have the sequence going. Let me kill the sequence. I need to get the time. I want to hit the 1 for sure. What if we go lower? What do you think about that voicing? I think it's pretty good. Oh, I can make the steps go up. We can have more steps. More steps. Can I do that? There we go. 64. So I think I do want to try that. Let's get the C there. That's also super useful that it's like syncing up too. Let's get that sequence going. Right there. Stop and play from the top. Not that. Great, so I actually only have a 4-bar phrase here, so that's why it's looping like that. Let's go ahead and duplicate this time so we can go a little further. Interesting, interesting. Oh, I can nudge the chords too. All right, that's cool. So what I can do now is just drag sequence in. Oh, did I drag the chord instead? Oh no, I did something when I was nudging. There we go. Sequence. Okay, so now exit out of Chord Jam. And we can drag this onto the pad instrument itself. We turn Chord Jam off. Let's come up with like just 2 more chords and we'll build around that. I gotta turn Chord Jam back on. Now I didn't really change the voicing at all, but let me go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna delete the sequence. This is kind of the workflow that I'm trying to build up in my brain about this. Oh, so it also can AI generate a chord progression, but we don't want that. Let's turn the sequencer off for now. Let's figure out another type of chord. Yeah, just a simpler 7 chord. Drag the chord in here. And make it legato, so it stretches. Now we can build our progression this way. I might kill some of the reverb on this, though. Let's want a higher chord. That's it. Back into Chord Jam. Drag that chord. Drop it in. And make it legato. Easy. All right. So far, so good with this. Let's keep it an 8-bar pattern. Can you also set a key and only play those notes like in scalar? Yeah, so actually, this is doing a little work for us anyway. So just looking at this, it's major, look at the chord type, it's major 7, right? And it's in a major key, C major. Selected that there. Those of you who don't know music theory, don't tune out just yet. So I'm saying that because I play a C on my keyboard, it plays a C major 7. That's in key diatonically, right? Now it doesn't go and play a D major 7, it plays a D minor 7, which is in the key of C major. So all these chords are in the correct key. So there we go. Like using the sequencer is helpful if you want to start building sequences within the plugin first and then dragging the entire sequence over. Fantastic. But then you can also drag chords, individual chords in too, which is helpful. Great, so we've built up this. So now that MIDI is on the actual instrument track. So I can pretty much delete the Chord Jam. And I've got it. I've killed some of the dry wet, as you can see on the reverb. Did I put a, I thought I put a sidechain compressor. Am I crazy? Did I put it on the wrong thing and you all just watched me do it on the wrong thing? Laughing at me. I remember adding a sidechain. Anyway, this is a really nice instrument. And like they said in chat, the AudioKaviar pack is huge. So why don't we continue on and try to do a bit more with it? Sample packs. We have plucks. I wish live for like user created instruments, I wish it still had a preview. Let me try a different sound. I'm just gonna browse through a couple of these sounds, see if any of them fit. Pluck 2, come on, pluck 2. This is definitely not a drill beat, by the way, so hopefully nobody's disappointed. I know it's a hip hop and drill pack. Could definitely add that in there. I want to check out some of these sounds, so I'm not going to commit to anything too soon. Let me just add that little bit of sparkliness on top, because why not? I'm going to get rid of some lows, but this is a very robust sound. I mean, look at all the devices in it. And if you have Ableton Live, it's perfect for you. But I'll go back in and check out some of the samples after I put this little sound in here. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we'll keep that. I'll go a little bit more on the dry wet. Can Chord Jam just lock the key and let you play notes in the key only instead of chords? Yes, LA Winter. That's what I was just showing. It was doing that. So just rewind if you missed that part. But I did explain that. You can choose per chord, like regardless of key, you can choose the voicing, or you can lock it in within key. All right. So yeah, there's a bunch of devices here, but there's also other stuff. I wonder, is there any like top loop I should add? What does that add? A little glitchy kind of loop here. To be honest, I could speed this up. Nah, maybe it's a little too much. Could I slow it down? For sure. FX and Foley. Oh, very cool sounds. I like using little glitchy sounds like that, almost in a percussive way. That water droplet one is appealing. Let me just throw this on the end here and like send it to reverb and bring it down in the mix. Emphasize snare with it. How about that? There we go. LA Winter said, like, if I want to just play a melody in key but not chords, can I do that? That is, well, you can arpeggiate chords, but the whole point of Chord Jam is to play chords. It's not an instrument. You're routing it to an instrument within your DAW. So when you buy it and it doesn't make sound, don't be disappointed. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. You route it to an instrument, and it's supposed to be helping you generate chords. So don't expect it to make sound. Writing a melody with it, not really what it's made for. Although you can use the arpeggiator to arpeggiate through chords, which could give you some interesting melodies for sure. All right, I already used a lot of those drum one-shots. Oh, there's even Serum presets. I could have installed some of those, but I did not. Wow, there's so much happening here. Synth loops. I don't think these are gonna fit with our current sound, especially not following this chord progression that we made. Yeah, you could limit the voices in the chord to one, but like that's such a backwards way to that would not help you. I would use some of these synth loops, but let's just listen to them because I don't think they're gonna work. I'm gonna drop one in just to prove myself right. Yeah, that ain't it. Oh, I guess I'm more in F. Yeah, those are just not gonna work with the vibe, but nonetheless, if I had started with one of these, it would have been great. Okay. All right, last thing we'll do here is check out one of the 808s, I think. Because that's probably, if you're downloading a hip hop drill pack, probably the thing you're looking for, am I right? Not that this is even close to being a hip hop drill beat. Oh, that's a nice 808. Got the glide on it. What chords are these again? See, now I don't remember because I used ChordJam to generate them. What do you think of that 808? I think it's dope. I would probably take the reverb off though. Is there reverb? Yeah. I put the reverb on. Let's go, 808.3. Let's try that out. I did not drop it in properly. A little more subtle version. Subtle 808. They all have that glide on them. Let's just try 808.4. I'll just demo the 808 sounds for you, because why not? We've got a little bit of time left. 808.5. A little bit shorter. I didn't try 808.1, so let's just try it. Maybe just a more steady bass instead of 808. Oh, interesting sounds here. Looks like a lot of them are made with wavetable. Try bass 3. My friends, we're coming to the end here. I hope you enjoyed some of these sounds. It seems like there's just like a ton available here. Of course, we will pick the lucky winner. Who is winning Chord Jam today? Who will be the lucky winner of Chord Jam, the plugin we use to generate this cool chord progression? The thing about it is, like, I would not have written this chord progression. I could have written probably naturally would have written a similar chord progression, but it wouldn't be just like this. This sounds pretty good. Congrats to Locotech on YouTube, who has won Chord Jam with wild animals and a canoe emoji. Good job. Make sure you hit up that ADSR email so you can get in on that action. Make sure you get yourself that new plugin for the weekend, my friends. All right. This was a lot of fun today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give us feedback. What do you think of like going through the latest plugins at the top of the stream, talking about the deals, reacting to some of those promo videos? Let us know what you think of the format, because we're always switching it up. Would you rather us get just right into the music making and hands-on with a plugin, or do you like kind of the highlights of the kind of newsworthy plugins? Let us know for sure. I had a lot of fun using the Chord Jam plugin and also that new AudioKaviar pack, which is available on the ADSR store, of course. If you don't already, make sure you follow my channel, youtube.com/Taetro Taetro, Taetro. Give me a subscribe. I drop new videos every week and do live streams on my own channel. I'm here twice a week on this channel. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Every Wednesday we do a production challenge, the ADSR production challenge. This week we're making music to a particular image, and you can find that image in the Discord. It's a fun little challenge. There's always cool prizes, $100 voucher to the ADSR store, and then we pick one winner that usually gets like a bigger prize, like a full-on plugin or something like that. So just come be a part of the Discord. It's a fun little community. We're all pushing each other to do better. And then I'll be back here on Wednesday to go through the challenge with you, pick some winners, and have a good time. Talk about what the next week's challenge will bring. Yes, I hope you enjoyed this look at Chord Jam and all the different plugins. It was a fun time for me, for sure. I hope you all have a great weekend. Follow me on Instagram at Taetro to keep up with my cabin in the wood adventures this weekend. But that's going to be it. Shout out to the winner, Loco Tech. Shout out to everybody who joined and participated today. I really appreciate you. That is going to be it. Just drop by the Discord even if you don't want to be in the challenge. Mix and mastering feedback on Tuesday. There's a lot going on the ADSR channel, so subscribe, notifications turned on so you don't miss it. Anyway, that'll be it today, my friends. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the well wishes, Kyle Gray Young. You have a good weekend as well. This has been Taetro for ADSR. Have a good one.